Hello crafty friends, it's Beverly here over at Crafting Chaos, and I'm here to show you how to make some dinosaur images that you can use with the reveal wheel card in the alternative version that I have shown on both my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, or rather the Facebook page that I belong to with Scan and Cut. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to the internet and I'll show you where I found the images. First of all, I went to find a jungle image, so I just typed in free jungle leaf clip art. This one, I scrolled through, found this one, so it was a PNG royalty free library tropical leaf, so I right clicked and saved it to my desktop. I then went into another page and I went on free dinosaur colouring pages for kids. This one came up, it says download this for free, and if you click that link it will take you to where you can actually download the file for free, and then that will be available, so you just hit the download button. Finally I wanted a volcano, so I again went onto Google and typed in free volcano clip art, and I scrolled through till I found one that said it was free, and I right clicked and saved that image. So once I'd got all my images saved to my desktop, I then went into the piece of software that I've been talking about in a previous video called Inkscape. Now Inkscape is a free web program that is just like a really complicated version of Canvas Workspace. Now I say really complicated, it's as complicated as you want it to be. If you're just following this for tutorial purposes, there's nothing difficult about what I'm going to show you, and it means that you'll be able to create some images that you can resize to any size you wish without any pixelation whatsoever. Now I'm not going to go through them all, I am just going to go through a couple so that you can see how to do it. I've already shown you how to do this once, but I'll quickly run you through it again. So you first of all need to locate the image that you've found. So we're going to go on import image, and I have them on my desktop and I saved it as it's a dinosaur colouring book. I'd also downloaded a couple of other dinosaurs that I could have used, but then I come across this one, so that's the one I used, so you can see where I found the cute scientist, the one from the previous video. So if you're interested on that one, make sure you check that video out. So I'm now going to go on to this one and say open. JPEG bitmap image import, just say OK, and that will bring it into our desktop, if you will. What you need to do now is the next steps are very, very simple. You just need to follow them carefully. So you're going to click on path, which is this icon here, path, and you're going down to where it says trace bitmap, and you click on that, leave all the settings at their default and click update. Now it looks a bit patchy, but trust me, it will be fine. Click OK, and then what you've actually done is you've created a path from that image. By a path I mean something that is actually made from nodes rather than it just being an image. Now, so if we look at this now, if we look at the bottom here, you can see this says it's a path with 2,395 nodes. Okay. So what we're going to do now is click on this one, the original one, which is the image, and it says here image, and that's the one we're going to delete. Now, so that's a quick trace, and that's what we've ended up with. Now all you would do is select it to make it so that you can move the images around individually and resize them individually. You need to first of all select them and go to path and break apart. Now that will just look a little bit messy for us. I think, oh goodness, I've lost all the image. You haven't. All we need to do now is, whilst this selection tool is selected, we need to drag a box around the image that we're looking at, and it's this one. So once you've done that, you'll highlight all the parts that make up that image, then you go on path and combine. Now that's combined the image back into its image, but now notice we've still got a path with 519 nodes. It tells us if we click on the nodes, you'll see them. Click back onto this selection tool, then we'll go for another one of the dinosaurs, select it and go on path, combine, and that again now has combined that path for us, so we can move it freely and individually from the other ones. Now this next one could be a bit tricky because it's very close to the palm tree. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting it, and it doesn't look like it's caught any of the palm tree. So I'm going to try it, path and combine. And I think we've got away with that. It's fine. Now this one is probably going to cause us a little bit of a problem. Now we don't want that one because it's just too small. But these are really close together. So I'm first of all going to select them all. So we're going to combine them again, and we're going to go on layer, this one, file, edit, view, layer, duplicate current layer, and that will make a duplicate just of the ones that we've got here selected. So we're going to do that again, layer and duplicate, and it should be duplicating and it doesn't seem to want to. We'll try it once more. Duplicate current layer. I don't know why it's not doing it. It should be doing that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to path, break apart, and we'll see what we can do. So we'll try to select the big dinosaur. Select everything, and we'll try layer and duplicate now and see if that's duplicated. It just doesn't seem to want to duplicate for some reason. It was working fine before, but it's a free program and it can be a little bit temperamental at times. So we'll work with that. So we're going to try to get the palm tree now without getting any of the other dinosaur, which is going to be tricky because the dinosaur's tail's really close up. And we have actually got a piece of the tail. If we zoom in, so what we can do is zoom in, and then holding the shift key down, we just need to select everything again. Select everything. And we can see the two parts that we've got, and we're going to path and combine, and we're going to move that off to the side. But look, it's moved two of those with, so we're just going to clean that up by selecting the path icon, which is the second one down, and we're going to drag around the, once we've clicked on them, we're going to drag around them and hit minus, and I've just missed one of them, so I'm going to get that one, and that's now just the palm tree. Now we can have a look whether that part that we've removed is going to make a massive difference. So we're going to go path, combine, and we've just got like the bits missing there. So what you could do in that case is just bring it in again, import the image, bring in the dinosaur colouring page again, say OK, go Vit to Mat. We're going to path, trace the bitmap, update, say OK, and close that down, move it off, check that you're deleting the right thing. So this is the path and this is the image, so we're going to delete that, and we're going to path, break apart, and this time we only want this big one down here, so I'm going to combine this path. So I'm going to drag round, and I'm not going to worry that I've got anything else in my image that I don't want, because all I'm going to do is just get rid of it once I've got it combined. So I'm going to path, and I'm going to combine. I'm going to move that off to the side, and you can see we've got a bit of the palm tree, but we've already made our palm tree image. So now we just click on the second icon down, which is the node tool, select the nodes we want to get rid of, and delete them by pressing the backspace. Go on the node tool again, and we'll delete this one down here, and then we've got our dinosaur, the one that we couldn't get without losing the part of his tail. And then we're going to drag around the rest of them and delete. And if we view Fit to Mat now, just going to zoom out a little. So now we've, oh dear, I've got it on. If you do that, all you've done is just, instead of clicking back on the selection tool, we're still on the magnifying tool. So just click on that. Now all I did then was selected them all that I've just made, because obviously they're a bit on the large size at the moment, and I grouped the path. So I went on Object and Group, and then I made sure that the padlock was closed here, and just resized them down to smaller images that I thought would be the right size. Then you would ungroup, Object and Ungroup, and then you can move your images around and they're now at a more appropriate size. Okay, so all I did is did exactly the same thing for the leaf and the volcano. I'll quickly show you the leaf because that was a coloured image and you'll see it works very similarly. So we're going to File, Import, and this time we want the jungle leaf. Just say OK, brings it in, go to Path, trace the bitmap and Update, say OK, and then close this down. Then move it off to the side. It's obvious that this is the path because it's the black and white one. This was the image. Delete it. And then you can resize. And if you look at the nodes, if we zoom in, go on the zoom tool and we zoom in. We then click on nodes. You'll see that those nodes go around the outer edges of the leaf. So we'll go back on the selection tool and we're going to go on the zoom tool and we're going to zoom out. So all I would do then is select that and drag it down to a size that's appropriate, that you think is appropriate, and then you'd go on File, Save As. Now I've selected the Cairo PNG, so it saves it as an image that you can open in a word processing document. So you could print from there or you could print directly from Inkscape and save it. So somewhere where you know where it is. I often save in the desktop unless I've got a folder for that kind of thing. And then once you've done that, you can go File, Save As, and you want to make an SVG. So you go on Plain SVG. You go on File, Save As, and you pick from the thing Plain SVG and save a copy of that as an SVG file. So that's all you need to do. Then once you've done that, you would then be able to go to your Canvas Workspace . Okay, so after you've done that and you've saved that into your documents as an SVG and a PNG, PNGs as just an image file that you can open in Word document, or you could print directly from Inkscape by going File and Print, and make sure everything is well on the page before you do. Okay, because they're not at the minute, and it's only going to print with a border around, imagining that there's margins all the way around the page. It's only going to print when the images are actually on that page. It'll save them wherever, even if they're off, but it won't print unless they're on the page. Okay, so once you've done that, you can go to Brother Canvas and you could find the SVG where your files are. So now you've got your dinosaur, and your volcano and your leaf. Now, all I would be doing is I'm going to just zoom in a minute. For some reason it doesn't want me to move them. This mouse is so sensitive. There, I've got it. Then you can move them. Now I'm actually only going to work using this image at the moment, because everything else I would just print out. I'm not going to I could actually get it to draw them if I wanted to. I could get it to draw the image, but I'm not intending to do that. I am going to print mine. But I would like some backing paper for my card that would create a backing paper for this. Now I've obviously not got the stamp. You might not have the stamp to be able to do this, so this is an alternative if you wanted to do that, and then ink on top. So if you just select yourself a piece of card, if you will, a square, which is going to act as our card, We'll resize that to 5 by 7 inches. Because that's be the size of my card panel. And I'm just going to maintain my aspect ratio and make it slightly bigger. And then all I'm going to do is, because the image is only really going to be visible on the edges, I'm going to duplicate it several times, and I'm just going to arrange this around by twisting and turning and twisting, so that they're all in different orientations. And I don't need to fill the entire page, because once you've mounted the actual stamp, if you will, oops, I didn't want to move that. Once you've mounted the stamp, oops, I need to bring these up to the top. So we're just going to go around like so. We're going to rotate them so they look random, so that they don't look like they've just been plonked on, which they have, obviously. I'm just going to send that square to the bottom because it'll keep annoying me. So I'm just going to layers, and I'm just going to carry on and arrange these around the edges of my card, which would be my printed paper, which I could then go on to, can make as many of these as I want. Just make a couple more, and just keep adding them to the edges. Don't want to move that big piece. I keep getting it for some reason. And we're just doing this so that we've got a nice, I'm going to just, again, like you would if you were stamping, arrange them randomly, and until you're happy that it's as you would have it look, if you will. So I'm then just going to move that one down a little bit, maybe move this one across, maybe make another duplicate. I can flip it and put it this way, rather than just doing all the rotation. Make that one a bit further on, that one across. So now what you're going to do is, obviously you'll put a piece of paper on your mat that's bigger than the card that you want it to do this in. And we're just going to go onto the layers, and I'm going to select all of my leaf shapes. So I need to select all of those. So I'm just going to select them all. Oops. So I'm just selecting all of the shapes. You'll see why in a second. Because I just want to make them a drawing line. So all I would do now is get the scan and cut to actually draw these. I'm going to leave that there as a guide to where I need to put my paper, if you will. But then obviously when I go to actual draw on my machine, it's only going to draw those leaves that are there. So then once you've done that, you could just ink over it and you're good to go. So I'm going to save that file, save as. I'm just going to put it back in paper. Okay, and then finally I'm just going to go to a new Canvas Workspace, pop top it, and I did say I'd show you how to make a template for a cloud. All you need for this is some circles, and we're going to just duplicate the circles. So we're going to need a few, and we're going to start building the stencils. So all you need to do is just make them different sizes. So you're moving them, making them bigger, smaller, and overlapping them on top of each other. Maybe a little bit further apart for that one. Maybe have another one that's a little bit smaller even next to that one. And just keep adding, like so. Maybe make that one a bit smaller again. And smaller. Whoop, not that one. This one. We could leave that quite big, and that'll be our first end of the stencil. I'm just going to move those away. I'm just going to select them, and I'm going to go on the second icon, and I'm going to weld them. Then we're going to work on this side here, and I want this one to be smaller clouds, if you will. So I'm going to resize my triangles, my circles, to being quite small, smaller than the ones that we've got on that top line so that we can have different clouds, if you will. So I'm just going to duplicate that one a couple of times, and we're going to line some of these up. Don't have to be all perfect. Just make that one slightly bigger, just by eye. Not quite that big, so we'll make it a bit smaller. I'm going to just add that there, and we'll maybe finish off with a slightly larger one at this end, like so. I'll have that one out a bit, and now we just need to select those and weld. So what we've got now is the two parts of our stencil, and now if we just, again, we're going to duplicate, and all I'm doing is just arranging circles in a line, varying sizes, not worrying whether they're overlapping perfectly with the other one, because we're going to deal with that in a minute. And I'm just going to keep going. I'll have that one out here a bit. I'm going to then take that one smaller, we'll have it close, like so. Then maybe another one that's quite small next to it. So it just gives us different looks on each of the four sides of the stencil. So that one can go there on that. Then I'm just going to select all of those and weld. Now we've got our final side to do. So again, I'm just going to duplicate a couple so I'll make sure I've got enough. And we need to start coming down from this one. So again, we're just resizing those circles and joining them together. And this is all I do, this is all the process that I actually did to create the stencil. And actually no two stencils are going to be exactly the same, for the simple reason that you're using different size circles, so it's going to come out quite unique to you. So weld those together. Now what we actually want to do now is weld these middle bits, and I'm just going to do that little bit there, weld that with a circle. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get a square, a rounded square, I think. No, maybe not. Maybe we'll go with this one. Drag that on. And all I'm going to do is centre this so that at the minute, because we've got a hole in the middle of our stencil, so I'm just dragging it across so it's covering the hole. Like so. I think that's it. I think we've got it there. Select both and weld, and then you can see you've got your cloud stencil. So if we put a bit of colour in that, there you go. So that would be our cloud stencil, the way you could use the edges to do your clouds. Okay, and then we could do, if you wanted, just to improve it, to make it even more useful if you wanted. I'd thought about this after I'd cut my other one, but as I already have some little mini clouds, if you will, that I use when I'm making my pebble art, so I already have some clouds that I use for that. And I'm just going to get a couple more duplicates, and all I'm doing is creating just a single cloud, if you will. I think we'll duplicate that one a couple of times and move that one over here. We'll see what that one looks like. So if we weld those together, we've then got the makings of a cloud. So again, we need to just make sure that we've welded that, all the bits that are not welded in the middle, and we're just going to join together and weld. So then we've got a cloud, a separate cloud, if you will. Now you could make it longer, shorter, short, fat. So what I'm going to do, you can rotate it. So I'm going to have it like that first of all, and I'm going to do a duplicate and I'm going to flip it. So now we've got that version, and then I'm going to do another duplicate and I'm going to elongate it a little bit. So we've got a longer version, and I'm going to do a duplicate and I'm going to just make that quite small. Okay, then I'm going to select them all and I'm going to group them temporarily. I'm going to shrink them down, not quite so much, so we can just grow them back up a little bit, like so. And then layer ungroup, and all I'm going to do then is just position them on my main cloud edge stencil, if you will. So I'm just positioning them like so. Might just rotate that one slightly. Okay, so then we're going to select everything and we're going to subtract. So actually I'm going to do that edit before. I'm going to make a duplicate of that one, and then I'm going to edit, subtract. So now you've got two different stencils, if you will. So I'm just going to group everything. Actually, I'm going to undo that. That's what I want to do. Just redo that. Is I'm going to resize it so it's about a 6x6 stencil. Okay, so that's one. And then if we make this one about 6x6, then we've got our two stencils. So you've got one that you could use for cut and one that you can do for that. Now you can either cut them out of a piece of clear acetate, you could cut them out of Mylar or Dorflex, whatever it is you use for cutting out your stencils, and it does a beautiful job on your scan and cut, as you saw with the one that I posted on with my blog to get the cloud background on the back of my dinosaur stencil. So that's how I did it. It's quite simple and easy to do. And then all you do is file and save as, or sorry, export as an FCM so that you can send it across to your scan and cut, or transfer to FCM and then it'll send it straight to your scan and cut. So that's the supplementary video for the dinosaur files and the cloud stencil. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. And please watch parts 1, 2 and 3 where it shows you how to make the actual mechanism for the reveal wheel card, how to actually make the Cute Chemist stamps that are from open source, and then the assembly video on the Cute Chemist one, but then also the how to make the dinosaurs if you wanted to make the dinosaur card. I think it's a super cute card for the little boys in your life, because all little boys, from what I can gather, seem to absolutely love dinosaurs for some reason, as much as little girls seem to like the mermaids and unicorns. Okay, so that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.